This is the fifth estate winning headlines, your media police post, coming to you from Nairobi, Kenya, from the Fortal School of Government. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines that you may have missed this morning. But we also take a look at some of the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 30th of June, 2022. And I am 2M.
I am Srupia.
And I am 2J. And in case you missed today's headlines, here they are. In the Daily Nation, fit to rule. In the Standard, revealed Uhuru's Dubai ports deal. The Star, Ruto now backs Chebukati on digital voter roll. And in the People Daily, big battle for vote register. Now, before we get into our thoughts of the day, I think it's important that we address very briefly what happened in KISII today. So at around 4:30 p.m., there was a blast at the KISII Stadium as Martha Karua was walking to the podium to address some Azimio supporters. It's a bit unclear what took place. Some are reporting that it could have been, some kind of explosion. Some are saying it was a tear gas canister rather. But I think if there's one thing Prof has told us about succession elections, is that they attract two things.
Yes.
Assassinations, whether it's attempts or successful, and constitutional crises.
Yeah.
And I think that we are heading towards both of those scenarios if we're not quite careful. Gladly, Martha Karua was unharmed. She's okay. I think, in fact, she continued with, her agenda for the day. So we do salute her for that. But quite scary, right?
Yeah.
It's scary times.
Sure.
Scary times.
Yeah.
But today, dear Kikuyus, today, I want to tell you that you need a new cash crop. And that new cash crop is Bangi. But before we go to Bangi, let me tell you why Kikuyus need a new cash crop. For 100 years, only two cash crops have made Kikuyus wealthy. Coffee and tea.
True.
Shai. In fact, if it wasn't for coffee and tea, Kikuyus would never have had their economic head start. In fact, if it wasn't for the permission granted to grow cash crops by the colonizer, Kikuyus wouldn't be as wealthy as they are now.
Yep.
In 1923, the colonial secretary, Victor Christian William Cavendish, the Duke of Devonshire, published the white paper regarding the status of all settlers and natives in the colony of Kenya. He called it the Devonshire White Paper. The essence of the paper was to prioritize the interests of Africans over other races. But more importantly, the aim of the paper was a part on labor. It read, as regards labor, the native should be effectively and economically free to work in accordance with his own wish, either in production in the reserves or as an individual producer upon his own plot of land. And herein was where the Kikuyus got their head start. At the time, 7 out of 10 adult males in Kiambu working for European cash crop farmers were Kikuyu. They initially grew cash crops for white settlers, but suddenly got the freedom to grow them for themselves. As a result, the coffee laborer that worked for the Mzungu was allowed to grow his own coffee. And this is how Kikuyus monopolized Kenya's first cash crops, coffee and tea. What's my point here? The wealth Kikuyus have today was designed by the white man, period. If it wasn't for the British, none of you Kikuyus would be growing tea or coffee, period. However, this does not mean that after 100 years, we should still stick to coffee and tea. Bangi is the future.
Oh, yes.
Why? If you plant and harvest bangi on 1 acre today, you will reap 8 million shillings per harvest.
Wow.
This means that in 1 year, your 1 acre plot in Nyeri or Murang'a or Kiambu can earn you 16 million shillings a year.
Hey.
If you plant tea on the same acre, it will give you 183 shillings a year. If you plant coffee on the same 1 acre, it will give you 640,000 shillings a year. Shilling for shilling, it means that for every 1 year you earn per acre from tea, you will earn 43 shillings from bangi.
Wow.
It also means for every 1 shilling you earn per acre from coffee, you will earn 12 shillings from bangi. And if Museveni of Uganda and Mnangagwa of Zimbabwe are growing it and exporting it, why not us?
Yes.
Legalize the damn thing.
Oh my goodness, this is so true. Wajakoya has entered your spirit.
Nobody can stop reggae.
So let me continue with a letter to Gemma. Dear Gemma, today we want to tell you that you have won the elections before it has even begun. Bravo, congratulations.
Yeah.
No matter which way the election goes, you are guaranteed a slice of heaven post-2022.
I love it.
And the reason is very simple.
Yes.
Every ticket features a member of Central Kenya,
Right.
whether by running mate or presidential candidate.
Yes.
Ruto and Rigathi, Wajakoya and Justina Wamboi, Baba and Martha Karua, and David Waihiga and Ruth Mutua.
Yes.
Gemma, your interests are secure.
I love it.
So if this is the case, we must ask an important question. If Gemma will form government regardless, is there any reason for them to vote on August 9th? Just consider it. With all these choices and the guarantee that their interests will be secured, it is not a question of whether Gemma should vote, but a question of whether Gemma will vote at all. Allow me to put this differently, using science and psychology. Because in our view, Gemma's abundance of choice has confused them. And this confusion may mean that 4.6 million voters from Central Kenya stay at home come voting day. Now, Barry Schwartz explores this in his book, The Paradox of Choice.
I love it.
He explains that when people are faced with many choices, they become overwhelmed, get tired, and they fail to make any decision at all.
Right.
In the end, more options become a problem instead of a solution.
True.
And it's likely that this increase of options will paralyze Gemma.
Right.
The reality is that if their interests are represented on every ticket, why should Kikuyus close their shops, take a day off work, or stand in a long, busy line when they are assured of a victory, no matter the winner? This election cycle comes down to Gemma answering the Atwoli question: in whose hands are you safe?
Yes.
And at a moment in time, Ruto was the only answer to this question. That is, until Martha came to eat at his Gemma vote,
Yes.
and Wajakoya showed us who the real hustler is.
Yes.
Point is,
Yeah.
while the abundance of choice may keep Gemma from the ballot, it has also exposed the games at play for their vote.
Right.
But Gemma has played this game superbly.
Yes.
They have won the election before it's even begun.
Yes.
So 2M,
Yes.
I think you need to make a formal apology to Kikuyus for saying that they overrate themselves. I think you may have been wrong.
0.
Gemma have hit 4 birds with one stone. So I'll give you now the worst case scenario.
Go for it.
Today, I want to tell you that Rigathi Gachagua could be the next president of Kenya.
Hey.
Allow me to play the election forward, then rationalize it backwards. If ICC holds off Ruto to The Hague before 9th August, this does not mean that he won't appear on the ballot, or that he appears, or that if he appears, he won't win.
Yeah.
First, the IEBC will allow Ruto to appear on the ballot.
Yes.
This is because the IEBC can stop a candidate from being on the ballot if the candidate is convicted after they have exhausted all the appeals processes.
Yes.
And the Pierre Bemba case taught us that this could at least take a decade. So now that Ruto is still on the ballot, can he win? Yes. In 1975, Mark Muidaga, a former Nakuru MP, became the first person to win a parliamentary election while still in prison. In 2013, while facing trial at The Hague, Uhuru and Ruto won the presidency. So, Ruto can still secure the presidency while on trial at the ICC. Now, if Ruto is elected president while at The Hague, Article 147(3) of the Constitution will allow his deputy to assume the presidency when the president is absent or is temporarily incapacitated. This means Gachagua will become president.
Oh, man.
So, we must ask, what will a Gachagua presidency look like? To see what a Gachagua presidency will look like, we only need to look at when he allegedly stepped in for his alien elder brother Nderito Gachagua, who was Nyeri's governor in 2013. Even though Nderito Gachagua had a deputy governor. Rigathi Gachagua's libido dominandi, the desire to dominate, compelled him to take over county operations and run Nyeri like his family property. And when the next governor, Wahome Gakuru, followed up on the investigations of lost public funds in the county, Gakuru lost his life.
Whoa.
Meanwhile, Gachagua has come out and told us that when they take power, he will recover his frozen assets. Assets that were frozen due to his questionable source of wealth acquired in a short period. It's clear he can't wait to get power to practice impunity unabated. On his loyalty to the people, we must remember that Gachagua was complacent in Moi's oppressive regime. He also kept quiet as Kikuyus were butchered. He alleges it's because he was following orders, and he is a yes man with the heart of a lion but the brain of an ox. These are not the traits of a true leader, but more of a subordinate. True leaders need to be able to speak out, even if it costs them. And Gachagua chose himself over the people of Kenya. Ruto has told us that he chose Gachagua because he's a fixer of problems. Indeed, he fixed Kikuyus in Molo. He allegedly knows who fixed Wahome Gakuru, and he's trying to fix himself as the Gema kingpin. And this therefore begs the question, if Gachagua is a fixer of things, is he posing behind William Ruto and fixing him as well?
Hey.
Does he want to inherit William Ruto through ICC? But the other question is this, does Ruto know this? We ask that because Ruto has kept Professor Kithure Kindiki closer to him than Gachagua. That is why he didn't take Gachagua yesterday to the IEBC. And if Ruto picked Gachagua and kept Kindiki close, will he eventually fix Rigathi Gachagua? We ask this because in 2007, Ruto was a fixer of Kikuyus, and Gachagua is a Kikuyu. So the final question is this, who will fix who? To this, only time will tell.
Wow.
You know, it's good that we think these things. Rigathi Gachagua is a graduate of political science,
Yes.
University of Nairobi. He's Machiavellian as they come.
Yeah.
And if he's been able to if he's skimmed his way to running mate of William Ruto, he is seeing the prize. The prize is not the running mate positions. It's a position. It's not the deputy position.
It's the president.
It is. He
presidency.
wants the presidency. He will fix Ruto. I guarantee you that.
All right, maybe we should apologize to Kikuyus for such a hard-hitting episode. On that note, we have a three-part criteria that we use to judge the headlines by. We ask ourselves, is the headline topical or speculative, repetitive or groundbreaking, and finally thoughtful or just plain lazy? I have missed sitting at this table for almost 2 weeks now. I left the headlines terrible. I've come back and they're still terrible. Therefore, I'm making executive decision number one.
They were rubbish from the
We're tossing them all.
A whole lot of them.
Tossing all the headlines. We will not even give them a second look. So on that note, we have no winning headline. But in light of the multiple manifesto launches happening today, I have a word of advice for those who are being conned. The demagogue is the one who preaches doctrines he knows to be false, to men he knows to be idiots. So since we were addressing Gema today, I will say for the last time, dear Gema, do not be the idiots that get a demagogue into power. Have a lovely Thursday evening. I hear it's Reggae Thursday in Kenya, right?
Red is a Wajakoya. See you.
Have a lovely evening and we will see you tomorrow.
God bless.